bread pudding. Is there a lazier or more delicious dessert that you can make from scratch? Probably, but I'm not gonna make a list or anything. I am gonna make bread pudding though. Hi there, I am Mitchell Moore. I'm a pastry chef and restaurant owner in Jackson, Mississippi. I've got Campbell's Craft, donuts, tacos, and coffee, as well as Campbell's Bakery. You can find us on Facebook. But today we are going to make bread pudding, if you can't tell. When one of the patrons on Patreon asked for bread pudding, I jumped at it because it's one of the easiest things that I know how to make. We make a lot of bread pudding in the South. And so everybody's got their own recipe. This is mine, but I'm going to try to give you some guidelines or guide rails to help you make your own bread pudding and make it consistent and make it good. What have we got in front of us, you ask? Let me ask my talented and albeit somewhat attractive assistant to come in. Mitchell. Thanks, Mitchell. So, right here we have a pound of cubed bread. This is actually our easy white bread recipe that we baked up just to make some bread pudding. The link will be below in the description, I think, or in a corner, something. You should see my face. Look for my face, but not here. I mean Mitchell's face, but somewhere in another corner. We've also got some butter. This is about half a stick. I've got a pound of bread, so we have a pound of milk, half a pound of eggs, and a pound of sugar, 3/4 and 1/4. And then we've got salt, vanilla, and ginger, as well as a bowl and a pan. And then over there I've got cooking spray. Thanks. Take it away. Great job, Mitchell. I can't even. Great job. So, like he said, we've got a pound of bread, so we're going to use a pound of milk. So think about it. What are we doing here? We are trying to feed our family during a worldwide pandemic. But that's going to end. And so I'm trying to give you guys the skills to make your own bread pudding or your own chicken and dumplings or your own whatever without having to bother me and ask me silly questions. So that's really what we're doing here, okay? So how do I know how much milk and eggs to use for the bread? Well, think about it. If you had a tablespoon of bread and you poured a tablespoon of milk in it, it would soak it all up and it would kind of be the consistency of soggy bread. So if you then added egg to that, it would solidify and coagulate in the oven if you cooked it, and now you've got a nice little bread. To make a normal custard, the ratio is 2 parts liquid to 1 part egg. So pound of bread, pound of milk, half a pound of eggs. Then think about this. If you had a tablespoon of milk, or let's make it a 1/4 cup of milk, and you wanted it to taste sweet, how much sugar would you put in it? A teaspoon? A tablespoon? If you wanted it to taste really sweet, like a dessert, you might even add another 1/4 cup and stir it all up. So if you've got equal parts, because remember, the bread is going to be not sweet, and so we're trying to sweeten not just the milk, but it as well. So equal parts milk and sugar. This is how I do it. If you wanted to do all white sugar, do all white sugar. Nobody cares. This is your pudding. If you wanted to do all brown sugar, that would probably be delicious. And I would highly recommend trying that. And then of course we've got half a stick of butter melted because it needs a little extra fat. So easiest way to do it, leave your bread over here for right now. I'm going to put the sugar into a bowl and then add the eggs. This will help to mix up the eggs and get them broken down pretty well. If you try to add the milk and the eggs, and then stir it up, you're going to slosh it all around. So this just helps you to prevent that. Now, unlike other recipes in baking, it doesn't matter what order these things go in. You could toss all of this in right now, it wouldn't really matter. You could put it all in on top of the bread and use your hand and mush it around. That would work as well. Nobody cares. It's totally fine. It's just bread pudding. I mean, it's literally leftovers. That's how it was invented. People wanted something to do with leftover bread. We've done it with leftover donuts before. It doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to add in my milk, then my salt. This is just so you guys in TV land can see it. I'm only going to put in a couple of pinches. And then vanilla. How much vanilla? I don't know. Does your family like vanilla? Mine does. And then ginger. So these are 4 words that you'll hear from a lot of former chefs or old school chefs. I don't drink anymore. So because of that, most bread pudding comes with a whiskey sauce or something like that. I actually like rum sauce, but it needs that. It's a very heavy dessert, so it needs something to lighten it up. It needs that twang, that acidity, that alcohol, flavor. And so I substitute that with a little bit of ginger in mine. Not very much, but again, my family likes ginger, so I can get away with that. Stir all of that up until it is homogeneous, meaning I don't have a whole bunch of milk sitting around a whole bunch of eggs. And then add in my butter and pour it all over the bread. Now, the beautiful thing about this is it's just bread pudding. There are very few rules. Maybe you like your bread pudding drier, or maybe you like it soft and mushy. How do you like it? Make it how you like it. But this is a good place to start, all right? Now, I'm just going to use my hand and mix it all around in here, get the bread totally saturated, and get it to absorbing all of that liquid. And then while it's doing that, I'm going to go wash my hands and come back and spray that pan. Give me just a sec. This is going to be delicious. Now, some people like those cubes of bread in their bread pudding. We don't. If that's what you like, leave it cubed. Do you care? I don't care. He doesn't care. So, but we like to break them up just a little bit. Now, this was left out overnight, so the bread's pretty dry. It's going to take a while for it to absorb all of this, but that's totally fine. And then you see I have a cake pan. What if you don't have a cake pan? Use whatever. Use a meatloaf pan, a loaf pan, a square pan, a 9x13 pan. Use what you got. It doesn't matter. It's just bread pudding. And then I'm going to pour that in here. Ooh. I did heavily grease that while you guys weren't watching. You should pay closer attention. And now this will go into a 325 degree oven for as long as it takes for it to bake. Honestly, it just depends. Could be 45 minutes, could be 30. I'd start checking it at 30. It may need longer. You'll know that it's done when you can press on the center and it doesn't feel liquidy or there is no jiggle to it. That means the custard has actually set, which is what you're looking for. All right, what you want to do is take a pot for your sauce, get it hot, add a stick of butter. I know, I get it, a stick of butter, but it's a butter sauce. This is Mississippi. It's a dessert. What do you want? Use olive oil? I mean, come on, an olive oil and kale sauce for your bread pudding? No, you want a butter sauce. So a stick of butter. I'm gonna turn that down before that gets me. half a cup of brown sugar. Could you use all white sugar, Mitchell? Yes, you could. What about, yes, you could. What if I only have dark, but yes, you could. See how that works? It's just cooking. Now, as that boils, I'm gonna add about a quarter cup of heavy cream, and don't forget your whiskey for your whiskey sauce. Oh, that's right, I don't drink anymore, remember? So this is just a butter whiskey-less sauce. But you could totally put rum, whiskey, bourbon, whatever you like, you could put in there. And there we go. I will turn that down, and when the bread pudding is ready, I will slather it in this. What do you do on a day when the rain just won't stop? You make some of the best bread pudding with brown sugar butter sauce that you have ever made. I keep messing up the takes so that I can keep eating it, because we have to refill it each time and put more sauce on, and then I just have to keep going. I'm not making that part up. I really do. Okay, let's get down to business. That's really good, and you should definitely make it. Make it using our easy white bread, which someone will put a link to in the bottom, not me, because I don't know how to do that stuff, but I can cook, let me tell you. Oh my goodness, it's great. Thank you to the patrons. Thank you to the subscribers. For those of you who don't subscribe, what are you doing? I mean, come on. Subscribe, like, share, friend. Don't friend me, but friend the video. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, you should do it. I keep looking down because that's where okay, I'm gonna put this over here so I can pay attention to you. Thanks, you guys. Subscribe. It's in one of these corners, I think. Just click on my face, not this face, but another face. And I appreciate it. I hope you make that. I'm still looking at it, you notice. I hope that you make the bread pudding and let me know how it turns out in the comments below. And send me some if it's really great. Send it to me if it's bad. I probably will still eat it. Thank you to the patrons. Please visit our Patreon and, okay, I'm gonna stop. Please visit our Patreon, and thank you to all of these subscribers. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. If you have any complaints, email them to even in the midst of a storm, Mitchell keeps baking at becausehe'samazing.com. Thanks.